And now to guide us in meditation this morning, Reverend Bob Trask.
Good morning, good morning. Let's know right now that what we're doing is diving deep into a sea of grace. And this service from this point on, in fact, before this, with Linda's beautiful singing, is moving us into a place of peaceful realization that we are one person in multiple bodies, and that this whole universe is in fact an expression of us individually. So let's close our eyes and put your lower back up against the back of your chair and your feet in a comfortable position and your hands in that position that they're normally in when you meditate, so that that neurological message goes out through your body saying, I'm now meditating, and takes you into that alpha wave level. And just breathing in and holding that in breath for 3 or 4 seconds before you let it go. And each time you let that breath go, feeling yourself sinking deeper into that sea of grace. Deeper, deeper, deeper. Deeper. And deeper. And around you is light, pure light of grace, surrounding you, blessing, relaxing, and healing every cell in your body. And each time you breathe in that light. And it goes into your lungs, into the small alveoli, and into the bloodstream, and it courses throughout your entire body. That light, that grace, enriching, blessing, and healing every cell, and making you whole. Presence of grace is the presence of joy. And as you swim deep in the sea of grace, blessed and healed and surrounded by love, you can feel a current in this grace flowing over you. And you head straight into that current. And as it washes over you, it washes away everything that is not truthful. All old beliefs and opinions, all old pains and regrets have no place in the divinity of you. And this current of grace is washing them away. And you are free in this sea of grace. You are free. You are free. Those old guilts that used to be anchored deep in your system have been washed away and you have been forgiven. Forgiven, completely washed clean. You find one of them that you're clutching, that you're holding on to. Take a risk right now. Open your hands and open your heart and let it go. You have been forgiven and you are in perfect company with the Holy Spirit. You have been forgiven. And if you find anyone in the darkness of your soul you have not forgiven, open that up and let that wash away as well. That darkness has no place in the divinity of you. Let it go. And allow yourself to feel yourself as joy. As the divine. When I ask you to come back to the sanctuary, you need not leave this place, because this is who you are. So this is the you that you bring back to the sanctuary and back into your daily life. In 60 seconds, I'm going to invite you back. You hear Linda's beautiful music. Come on home.
fall and the mountains should crumble to the sea. Well, I won't shed a tear. No, 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 I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. And darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Won't you stand by me. And darling, darling, stand by me. Won't you stand by me? Stand by me.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Here we are together, digging deep into our spiritual lives. You know, today we're going to talk about compassion is power. That doesn't really seem right, does it? Compassion is not power. Compassion is like a feeling of feeling sorry for somebody, right? But compassion has a lot to do with the word synchronization. And I'm going to explain that. Synchronization happens from the subatomic level to the vast universe. Everything is flowing together. If this happens, then this happens. If this happens, then this happens. Everything is moving together in a great, great system of synchronicity and flow. And it's important that we recognize that, because a lot of times we think of synchronicities as some kind of just random occurrences. But they're not just random occurrences. They have a purpose and they have a meaning. We call them coincidences, which is a good word, except that we think coincidences mean it's just a mistake. It just kind of happened. No, coincidence means coinciding. It's another word for synchronicity. So the universe works in a synchronistic dance, doesn't it? A rhythm where everything does what everything else is doing. It all moves together. And where does that come from? It comes from the all-creative mind, doesn't it? It comes from that powerful being that we sometimes call God, that we call Holy Spirit, or the Creator, or the great mind, or the great presence. And that great presence is an intelligent energy and an energetic intelligence. And its nature is love, and its nature is joy, and its nature is never unhappiness or lose a soul or being lost or feeling guilty or shameful. That's never, ever, ever in harmony and in rhythm of the Creator. But we are all together. We're working together even when we don't know we are. I've done drumming circles where I have a lot of people in a room, and they all have drums or cardboard boxes or tin pans or something that they're going to keep a rhythm on. And what I do is I just say, everybody just think of a rhythm in your mind. Then I have them just sit quietly for a minute and think of how they're going to hit that rhythm. And then please, now start your rhythm. And they all start the rhythm. And for the first maybe 10 seconds, there's some discordance. There's some people that are out of harmony with the rest. And then it lines up and everything is exactly the like. That doesn't mean that it's all beat, beat, beat. It can be beat-dee-dee-dee, 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 but it comes together and it's beautiful. And it's all of us operating as individuals and yet being in rhythm with each other. Is it possible that what we're seeing here is really the soul of compassion? Then what's compassion? One dictionary says compassion is sympathetic pity, and concern for the sufferings and misfortunes of others. Compassion is not pity. Compassion is compassion. A more accepted version is this: compassion literally means to suffer together. Among emotion researchers, it's defined as the feeling that arises when you're confronted with another's suffering and feel motivated to relieve that suffering. So is compassion then just when someone's suffering? So we know that somebody's suffering, somebody's really having a dark time. So that's when we have compassion. What about when somebody wins? What about when somebody has a wonderful, wonderful day? What about when you see somebody being really happy? Do you have passion with them? And is it compassion? Is it passion that comes together, you with them? See, that's what we are. We're one great, great root that comes up as individual trees. And in those individual trees, there are branches. And each one of us is on a branch, maybe somewhere on a branch. And the branches are our family tree. And they go back to the main trunk that goes into the great sea of mystery. And all the roots are together. We are one being in multiple incarnations. And everything that moves is moving by everything else moving. It means that you and I are linked together in a metaphysical dance of all creation forever. When we're not in harmony with others, we're not being compassionate. It's that simple. It means we've cut ourselves off from the universal power that wants to flow through all of us, creatures, people, pets, wild organisms, so on. All of us are united. And compassion means I accept that unity, because that unity brings my soul and your soul together as one. Here's the story of a man named Dr. Hugh Lin and how he cured an entire ward of criminally mental ill patients using the simple ancient healing method of Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono. This story has changed a lot of lives around the world. And though it's amazing, it shouldn't be. It should simply be our natural way of living. And incidentally, there are people who have said, but it's not real, it's not true, I've checked it out, it's false. There are always rumors, but I've also checked it out and I've done a lot of research. And I can tell you that it's absolutely accurate. Ho'oponopono is defined in the Hawaiian dictionary as mental cleansing and setting things right through mutual restoration and forgiveness. I think of it as remembering that which has been dismembered, remembering that which has been dismembered. Dismembered by what? By our lack of empathy, our withholding of our love, by our lack of compassion, of compassion. Dr. Liu worked in Hawaii at the Hawaii State Hospital in the high security ward for the criminally insane from 1983 to 1987. Many witnesses claim that Dr. Hugh didn't do any therapy on the patients. He'd walk through the ward and review the patient's files, but not for the purpose of therapy. And this mental ward was so chaotic and so violent that the nurses would go down the hall with their backs to the wall. And there were always brawls daily among the patients and the staff. And the mental ward was so destructive and depressive that the staff would either quit or would spend a lot of time on sick leave. Dr. Hugh Lin would arrive at the office every morning with a cheerful and tranquil disposition, and he never made personal visits to inmates. He'd simply browse through the files from time to time. Strangely enough, things started to change in the mental ward. The prisoners and the staff gradually began to get along with each other. The inmates were less destructive, and the mental ward employees were able to trust each other, and the inmates and to begin to enjoy their work. Eventually, The inmates got well and were released. Eventually, so few inmates were left, they had to be transferred to other wards, and the ward was closed down. Dr. Hugh used the ancient tradition of ho'oponopono, of healing, by holding each inmate in his heart and saying, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. Now, how can that make sense? It makes sense because what he saw is that we are all connected, all of us connected. So when he saw an inmate and he read his file and he looked on that inmate and he saw what he was suffering for, he realized that somewhere inside of him, he had the ability to heal and within himself. And compassion meant that he brought that feeling inside of himself and healed it within himself. He brought that inmate inside of himself and healed that inmate inside of himself. Compassion. That should be our way of life. And he says that the total responsibility for your life means that everything in your life, simply everything, is your life, is your responsibility. In literal sense, the entire world is your creation, is my creation, is our creation. And if we take complete responsibility for our lives, then everything we hear, touch, taste, or feel in any way is our responsibility, because it's our life. Because it's our life. Once the mind goes into this state of emptiness and peacefulness, divinity comes through with compassion. And this compassion awakes and blooms the work of healing and transforming memories within us. Memories, that's what Dr. was talking about. That those are met once we bring them in, they become our memories. And those, once we work with compassion and bring the divinity in with complete forgiving, with complete apology, with complete compassion, the work of healing and transforming memories takes place, which only the divine can do. The Ho'oponopono cleansing and is profound because we're dealing directly with the divine. And the divine work is always perfect. And I know all of this may be a little tough to grasp, let alone accept or actually live. It's a lot easier for us to just blame ourselves or others than to take total responsibility and change it, make it different. Ho'oponopono means loving myself and loving you in myself. I have to heal my life if I want to cure anyone else, even a mentally ill criminal. I have to heal that part in me. If I want to help you, to reassure you, then I need to heal your illness that lives in me. I have to get my ego out of the way and stand by you. Stand by you.
Oh, why you look so sad? Tears are in your eyes. Come on and come to me now. Don't be ashamed to cry. Let me see you through, 'cause I've seen the dark side too. And when the night falls on you and you don't know what to do, nothing you confess could make me love you less. I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you. Won't let anybody hurt you. I'll stand by you. So if you're mad, get mad. Don't hold it all inside. Come on and talk to me now. Hey, what you got to hide? I get angry too. Well, I'm a lot like you. And when you're standing at the crossroads and don't know which path to choose. Let me come along, 'cause even if you're wrong, I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you. Won't let anybody hurt you. I'll stand by you. Take me into your darkest hour, and I'll never desert you. I'll stand by you. And when night falls on you and you're feeling so alone, you won't be on your own. I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you. Won't let anybody hurt you. I'll stand by you. Take me into your darkest hour, and I'll never desert you. I'll stand by 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 you.
I will stand by you. I promise you, I will stand by you. I'll be your friend. You know, I've worked a lot in Asia and in Latin America and other places. And in Taiwan, I was told that there was a Buddhist nun who wanted to meet me. And so I was taken to meet this lady, and I was blown away by what I found. She was more than a nun. She's called Master Chen Yin. She is a living Buddha. She knew that the people of Taiwan, many of the people of Taiwan, were unable to afford medical care, and many of them were dying in the most awful, awful conditions because they couldn't afford medical care. So she started a clinic and kept praying and kept opening herself as a Buddha and bringing other people together to help and work with her. And she eventually created a medical team, and eventually they got together and got enough donations to build a hospital. Now I show up. I've never seen a hospital like this. Inside are beautiful woods. This is not a make-do deal. This is not a place that some construction guys came in and just threw up a building and put some iron railings around and say, there, that'll do. This was built with love, with compassion and tenderness. The railings on the stairwells, beautiful wood finished so perfectly. Everything in there is more beautiful than my living room. Beautiful. And I met a doctor who was from America. And I said, so are you volunteering here? He said, no, I've moved here. I've left my practice. He was quite a wealthy doctor in the United States. He sold his home, sold his car, moved to Taiwan. His wife is coming over shortly. Right now he's living in a dormitory with other doctors. The doctors in this hospital, they go through a training. It's now also a medical university where they teach people to be doctors and to be nurses. So it's a nursing school and a medical school. But the doctors studying to be doctors, there's a big room where they go in and they meditate every day. This isn't optional. They go in and meditate every day together. They have everyone has their own little meditation stand in a beautiful, beautiful room. And then there's a hospice place. And the doctors go into the hospice every day and visit those people and sit on the edge of the bed and talk to those dying people. And then, strangely enough, there's a place where flower arranging is done. And every medical student must learn flower arrangement and poetry and Tai Chi. It's the most amazing place I've ever been in my life. A medical facility that's filled with and built by compassion. Talk about power. This is spread around the world. There are now 96 countries that are part of that. And this is one of the most powerful research centers in the world. In recent years, patient applications and clinical trials have been developed for cancer, pancreatic cancer, breast cancer, liver cancer, deep brain stimulation, organ transplantation, stem cell therapy, stroke, brain injury, dementia, Parkinson's disease, cerebral hydrocephalus, motor neuron disease, spinal cord injury. It's the medical standards and technology research of Tzu Chi Hospital is ranked first in Asia and 13th in the entire world, started by this one solitary, small, most beautiful Buddhist nun who is a Buddha. My friend Leo Buscaglia, who's now on the other side, said too often we underestimate the power of a touch, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an honest compliment, the smallest act of caring, all of which have the potential to turn a life around. How many people will you come in contact with today? How many people will you touch with a smile, a kind word, listening ear, an honest compliment? How many lives will you turn around today? Thank you, Leo. We're all being here in multiple bodies, but we do need to think of ourselves as a forest of aspen trees. Each of those trees is unique. No two are alike, or ever will be alike, and yet they share one root system. The true one being in many incarnations, and so are we. There's no one who's ever lived or ever will live that's not us and that's not like us, except that our individuality remains separate. The title of this talk is Compassion is Power. Truly, I think that we've seen here that there is no power without compassion, because our entire universe is made of love. And anything that's not love is out of balance with the flow of love, with the flow of life. We're going to have to be accountable for the pain we carry inside of us because we're sharing it with everyone else. That we're in a pandemic of doubt, of distrust, and of fear. And it leaves us each feeling a little isolated, doesn't it? We begin to think we're alone. We're not alone. We're all one. So if you just add another L to the word alone, it becomes all one. When I look at you, I want to see you loving yourself. And then I feel loved. And when you look at me, you will see me loving myself. And in that, I'm loving you. Compassion means we have one passion together. And then we have all the power of the universe at our back. And we're never alone. And when you look at me, you're seeing yourself in me. And I'm your friend. I love you. I love you.
When you're down and troubled and you need some love and care, and nothing is going right. Close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest night. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running spring, summer, or fall, all you gotta do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. You got a friend. You got a friend. If the sky above you grows dark and full of clouds, and that old north wind begins to blow, keep your head together and call my name out loud, and soon you'll hear me knocking at your door. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running, running, running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you gotta do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. Now ain't it good to know that you've got a friend when people can be so cold? They'll hurt you and desert you and take your soul if you let them. Oh, but don't you let them. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you gotta do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. You got a friend. You got a friend. Ain't it good to know you got a friend? Ain't it good to know you've got a friend?
I feel so blessed, Linda, that you're my friend. When I reach out through the channel of grace that's coming through me to try to uplift and bring people into their own light. And when you sing, it's with such dear, sweet, heartfelt passion. It just moves me. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
My friends, right now, I want to talk to you about something special. And that's that there are some countries around the world that are really hurting right now. Haiti, after their earthquake, over 300 people dead. They'll go up much higher than that. Afghanistan, where the Taliban is overrunning cities and bringing their kind of brutal governance to the cities of Afghanistan. We're going to pray for them, but I want to say something about that prayer. If our compassion for them means that we feel their hurt inside and radiate that hurt back to them, we've done absolutely nothing for them. But if we can bring their situation inside and heal it with our joy, be bigger than that, be more than that pain, be greater than that pain, be one with Holy Spirit, with grace, and radiate that back to them, then we ease their situation, just as Dr. Hewlin healed those people in the mental ward. So, Holy Spirit, great presence, I pray to you, representing all of the people who are joining in on this prayer right now, whether it's today or on YouTube, even months or years from now. We come to you and open our hearts to let you come into us and be us with your joy and your love. And we see those people in other countries, and we see their torment, and we see their fear and their doubt and their sorrow. And we bring that in to us and we heal it with your love. We heal it because we love them and we care about them, and they are us in different places of the world and in different incarnations of spirit. We love you and we thank you for this blessing of healing. And that's the way it is. Amen. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Our Q&A starts right now.
And incidentally, the incredible Nathan Aswell will be our musician next week. Oh, that's going to be great.
It will be. Oh my goodness. Well, here's the first question, Bob. There are two words, synchronicity and synchrodestiny. What is the difference between those two experiences?
Well, that's really, really a great question, and I thank you for that. Synchrodestiny cannot exist in a controlled way unless it's synchronistic with synchronicity now. We create our future by where we are right now. If I can see that synchronicity is in fact a harmony, a coming together, as when I talked about the drumming, or when you have 10 people singing and some people are singing low and some are singing high, and when they finally come together in perfect harmony, it's one voice. I have to be able to do that in this moment, synchronizing my life with all that is in this moment, accepting synchronicity. You think about your mother and the phone rings and you pick it up and you say, "Hi, Mom," because you know it was going to be her. You say, "I'm going to buy a new car, but I don't want this color. I want a blue. I think I want, I can kind of see that blue in my mind." And you stop at a stoplight and that color car pulls up next to you. That's because you're creating your reality. It's not accidental. It's coincidental only in that it coincides. But we have to become aware of coincidence, aware of synchronicity, and work with it as truth. And that's when compassion is awakened. And then synchrodestiny becomes something that we're making happen from here. Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Bob. And this one is, I have a strong sense that taking 100% responsibility for everything in my life is a doorway to Christ consciousness. If this is a doorway step in our spiritual, is this a doorway step in our spiritual evolution? And if so, what exercise could help us to truly make the shift?
Oh, God, I just absolutely love you for that question. Thank you. Of course, we see, here's the thing about Christ consciousness. Christ consciousness means being the anointed one. It means being one with all. Jesus was fond of saying, "I and the Father are one." What he was saying is, I and all, everything are one. We're one. I'm one with everything. I'm one with everything. Buddha said the same thing. I'm one with everything. So accepting synchronicity and being compassionate and being responsible for everything in my life, everything, every single thing, the rock in my shoe, the pimple on my forehead, the cold that I have, the great joy that I'm feeling, the wins that I have, the compliments that I get, the curses that I get, everything that's going on in my life, I'm creating. And until I get there, then I think that I'm here and reality's out here somewhere happening to me. The fact is, I am the creator of my reality. In the classes that I teach, I go more deeply into that, and I don't have time right now, but I can tell you that the Bob Trask you're seeing right now on your computer screen is you in a different incarnation. You're not seeing the same Bob Trask anyone else is seeing. Everyone's looking at this face, but no one's seeing the face you're seeing. They're seeing a mirror of themselves as Bob Trask. And I am seeing reality as a mirror of me. You are creating your own reality. And when you know that and when you live by that, then you open the door to the Christness within you. And how do you do that? What's the practice? Love every single person you see. The beggars, the lepers, the drug addicts, the dishonest politicians, the beautiful people, the children. Look at every one of them and say, that's me in a different incarnation, and I can love that person totally as myself. Compassion, I can bring them into myself and make them at home within me. And it's hard sometimes, but until we can do that, we are not home ourselves as Christ's. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. I have one here from Dawn. How do we respond compassionately to someone who does not seem to be acting very compassionately?
Then it's back to bringing that person that's not compassionate into a place in our hearts and healing that within us. See, if I see somebody who's not acting compassionately, it bothers me. It probably bothers me. Now, that bothering me means that person's living inside of me and irritating me. So I need to accept that person inside of me and the irritation that they're bringing me, and then heal it with unconditional love and acceptance. See, there's a lot of things in life that we want to change. We change nothing until we first accept it exactly the way it is and exactly the way it is not. So that person's not acting compassionately. I need to stop judging them. They're just doing their dance. I need to bring them as that inside of me and heal that inside of me with pure, unconditional acceptance and love. Thank you.
Well, you may have answered this question, but I think you might have more to say about it. And this one's from Derek. Is compassion the result of unconditional love?
Compassion is the result of unconditional love, and it is unconditional love. It is unconditional love. When compassion, in the way we're describing compassion here today in this service, compassion is, Derek, you and I are the same. You're not only my brother. You and I are one person. We just happen to be doing this dance in two incarnations. Yours is unique and individual. Mine's unique and individual. You stumble and fall. I feel that because I'm stumbling and falling within me when I see that. So the way I can heal that is to bring that into myself and heal it. And that energy then goes out to you and picks you back up from the stumble. That's compassion. And it most definitely is unconditional love. Thank you.
How can Bob explain more clearly that there seems to be so many divisions and lack of compassion between vaccinated and non-vaccinated? This has never happened with any other vaccine before. Can you speak a little bit about that?
Yes, I can. The subject, my dear friends, is not vaccinated or not vaccinated. That just happens to be the theme that we're operating on right now. It's that people have different opinions and different beliefs about truth. This person sees truth this way. This person sees truth this way. This person says you're wrong. This person says they're wrong. What they're really saying is I'm right, I'm right. I'm right, you're wrong. I'm right, you're wrong. The fact of it is that there are a lot of people who are not going to get vaccinated. Now, I personally got vaccinated. I personally trust the science, and I got vaccinated. The Dalai Lama got vaccinated. 99% of doctors got vaccinated and their families. But I'm not saying those people who didn't get vaccinated are wrong or bad. And the minute I say that they're wrong or bad, or that they're other than me, then I've built a wall between me and them. And that wall is more important than the vaccination. We get out of touch with each other. Politically and emotionally and mentally, we become different. We separate ourselves. And that's what's happened in every culture around the world that's caused separation and wars. And on Easter Island, that happened on Easter Island. It's happened in cultures everywhere. So I got vaccinated. I think vaccinations are the proper thing to do. I believe in the science. I believe in Dr. Fauci. I think people should go get vaccinated. People say to me, but I'm not going to get vaccinated because I don't trust the vaccines. Then I say, I love you completely and totally exactly the way you are, and I accept your decision. I completely accept your decision, and I accept your ability and your right to make that decision. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to say, well, this pandemic is continuing to explode just because you're too stupid to get vaccinated. That we aren't going there. You have a right to your decision. And I have an obligation in God to accept you exactly the way you are and not to make you wrong. My opinion is that vaccinations work. Your opinion is that they don't. I honor you and I support you in doing what feels right for you. Amen.
Thank you, Bob. Someone wanted to know the name of the hospital or medical school or research center that you mentioned. If we could put that in the chat, that would be most helpful.
Let me see if I can get that for you. I've got the name. I've got the name. So Tzu Chi, TSU, different word, CHI. Tzu Chi. Tzu Chi. Think of Susie. Tzu Chi Hospital. Thank you for that question. Go look it up. Wonderful. My heart opens every time I think of that wonderful lady who was so kind to me and who showed me around her wonderful hospital.
Beautiful. What is the best way to show compassion for yourself when you are challenged with many life circumstances that aren't working?
See, I don't mean to be arbitrary, but I must tell you that all of life's circumstances are working. But they're very much like dishes. If I let them pile up in the sink, then I have a huge pile of dirty dishes. What I need to do is clean them one at a time as fast as I can when I do them. When I'm cooking, I wash my cooking dishes and pans and pots while I'm preparing the meal, because I don't want that stuff to build up. And the situations that come to me in life, every single one of them that comes to me, I need to handle it with love, with compassion. Some of them feel like they're not solvable. Good, then I need to forgive them and just let them be. All problems don't have to be handled and solved by you. Most problems solve themselves if you'll just love them and be patient with them for a bit. But there are a lot of life situations that seem to be interminable. They just seem so big and so permanent and so overwhelming that they just bog my life down. You are more important than your problems. You are on a mission in life to be bigger than your problems. If you can't get over them, under them, around them, then go through them by accepting them completely, exactly the way they are and exactly the way they are not, and say to myself, I am not my problems. I am not my problems, and you are not your problems. Each one of those needs to be addressed separately, individually, with complete love and compassion, and then let it set aside or let go of. Thank you.
Thank you. We have one last question. We sang Stand By Me and Lean on Me today. And how do you do that when someone is continually doing hurtful and harmful things to others?
Well, I have two answers for that. One is that the people who I see in my life who are doing hurtful and harmful things to others, that lives inside of me. Otherwise, the question wouldn't be there, unless it's going on inside of you. What they're doing is going on inside of you. So the first thing you need to do is heal that within yourself. You need to see that person as someone who is lost, who's struggling, who's not in harmony, who's singing out of harmony, whose beat is not the right beat with the rest of the beats. And so they're a problem. So I need to heal that inside of me by bringing that person inside of me and forgiving them, forgiving myself in that place, saying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for feeling this way, for not responding with compassion and grace toward you, but bringing that inside of myself and holding it in anger or in hurt, but instead to bring it inside and heal it within me, and feel that passion and compassion within me. And the second part of the answer to this question is get away from that person. You do not have to be, you have no sacred responsibility to be bludgeoned over the head by somebody who's singing out of tune. Distance yourself from that person with love, with kindness, with compassion, not with isolation, but with love and compassion and kindness. Thank you for that question.
Okay, Bob. It's always wonderful to have these different perspectives that you shared with us, and also that in this unity community, we are here as one, and we love this part of our service where we get an opportunity to come together as one and to speak in love and appreciation, and mostly today also in love and appreciation to you for this part of our service. So thank you.
Prayer for protection is one that we should actually memorize. It says that the light of God surrounds us, and the love of God enfolds us, and the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. And wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Now Linda will sing. Thank you.
Peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, that peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Thank you, Linda. Bless you, dear. You are a gift.